Hello guys, welcome once again to Nyeriki Crypto University. In today's video, I want to try and see whether I can predict what I think the value of one OpenEx coin is going to be at the launch. Currently, we are withdrawing. We are linking our withdraw address. So many people have been asking me, what do I think the value is going to be? So I'm going to try as much as I can to predict what the value of one OEX token is going to be at the launch. But then before we do that, if you're here for the very first time, make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you also turn your notification bell so that anytime we upload any video, you're going to be the first person to be notified. And for this particular video, I give it a thumbs up, okay? Now, I'm going to make my predictions based on CoreDAO. Remember, Satoshi app came into existence in 2020. The first coin that we ever mined here was CoreDAO. Okay, so later on, of course, we had OpenEx coming into existence. So OpenEx has come to an end. So we are looking at how much are we going to make at the end of this. So when I look at OpenEx, for example, not OpenEx, but CoreDAO, if I open CoreDAO here, for example, if I open CoinMarketCap here, Core is currently ranked number 49 on CoinMarketCap. There are so many similarities between Core and OpenEx. That's what I'm actually trying to relate. Okay. Now, of course, one of the similarities is that they are both mined through the Satoshi app and they are supported by Core blockchain. So if you open Core like this, you realize currently as we speak, if you check on some of the few factors that we look at, currently the circulating supply for this coin is 880 million. That is actually what is currently circulating, but the maximum supply for this coin is 2.1 billion. Okay, now the maximum supply for OpenEx is 10 billion, and for OpenEx the number of coins were given as the airdrop was actually were given 525 million. Okay, we were given 525 million. That's what we mined for CoreDAO. Okay, now for OpenEx, what we have mined as the community from Satoshi app, they have told us is 1 billion, and then we also have 1 billion that is going to be gradually mined. 500 million is being mined through the OEX app, and it is only being mined by those who completed the OpenEx missions. The other 500 million has not been said exactly when and where it is going to be mined from. So I'm going to assume the number of coins which are now going to come into circulation is one. The number of coins which we have mined as the community as for now is actually 1 billion. So my prediction is going to be made on that assumption, because the 500 million we are mining through the AGIX is not going to come into circulation, I think, anytime soon. So what is going to come into circulation is going to come from the 1 billion which we have mined through the Satoshi app. Okay, as you can see on the project down here, we have the OpenEx here, which has been mined completely, and as you can see, the 1 billion token OEX has been mined 100%. As you can see here, everything is completed. Okay, now so if we are talking about 1 billion, so I'm looking at if we have 1 billion tokens which the community has mined, and OpenEx mined a total of 525 million. That means if I was to compare, the potential of the two, or the potential of OpenEx, will be probably a half of what Core was. Okay, so when out of the 525 million coins that we mined, how much percentage were we given at the token generation event? We were given 25% initially. So what we were given is 131 million. That's what came into circulation when the coin was launched. However, out of these 131 million, some people gave up on the process, so they didn't they didn't mine up to the very end. Some didn't do the KYC, so their coins eventually didn't come into circulation. Also, some people decided to hold even after the launch, and some decided to stake. So the number of coins which ideally came into the market was about it was about 55 million, if I'm not mistaken. So out of 55 million, because 55 million coins came into the market, and the value was actually $6 when it was launched. Okay, so I'm now trying to relate. So if we had 55 million which came into the market, then I'm going to make this assumption. I'm going to make this assumption that out of this 1 billion, because we have mined, the community has mined a total of 1 billion, we are going to be given 20%. Okay, so that is 200 million. That is what is likely to come into the market. And out of this 200 million, of course, some people are going to give up on the process. They are not going to do KYC. So not all these coins are going to come into the market, and some people are going to decide to hold, and some are going to stake. So now, I'm going to make an assumption that 30% will stake and 70% will sell. So let me see how many people will be coming to with the tokens into the market. So I'm assuming 70% of this. So that is going to be around 140 million tokens. And then now I'm going to ask myself one question. If 55 million coins, we had 55 million core which came into the market, and the launch was $6, what 140 million is going to be launched at? So I'm going to divide 140 divided by 55. So that means if I work with this, assuming that both projects are going to have the same potential, then one OEX token is supposed to be launched at $2.5. Okay. But I'm also going to make an assumption, because OpenEx is currently running on core blockchain. So it may not necessarily be equal to core, but it might be slightly below core. So I'm going to also assume that OpenEx is going to be 70% of core, or is going to be 0.7 times core. So which means when core is 100%, OpenEx is going to be 70%. So it must be probably slightly less in terms of potential compared to core. So I'm going to assume if it's going to be 70%, then that means I'm going to, let me actually give it about, I think even on the lower side, I can give it a half. Let OpenEx be a half in terms of potential compared to core. So that means I'm going to multiply this by 0.5. That means if the potential of OpenEx is going to be a half of what core DAO was, then it means one OpenEx should launch at $1.27. But then I'm also assuming that I'm going to be 100% accurate in my predictions, which might not necessarily be the case. So I'm going to give myself, I'm going to assume I'm going to be accurate between 75% to 100%. So if I'm going to be 75%, let me actually give myself 70%. So if I'm going to be 70% accurate, then it means I'm going to multiply this by 0.7. That means, according to my prediction, one OEX token should launch between $0.89 to, assuming I'm 100% accurate, which might not be the case really, it should be between 0.89 to $1.27 But I'm going to give myself, I'll be accurate between 70% to 90%. So if it's going to be 90%, then it means I'm going to do 1.272 multiplied by 0.9. That means my prediction is going to be between, is actually going to be between, is going to be between 0.89, okay, all the way up to 1.14. So that means, according to my analysis, this is the least price I'm looking at. And if this is going to be the least price, then it means we have what? If you, for example, you have mined a total of, let's actually do the case of someone who has mined what? Someone who has mined 5,000. Let me actually use 2,000. So if you have mined 2,000 OEX, what you are going to get at the launch, remember, is 20%. So you will get 400 OEX tokens. So the least price, as per my analysis, should be 0.89. So that means you expect to make something like $356. And with the current exchange rate, which is about 130, you will take home 46,000 Kenyan shillings. Someone who has mined 5,000 OEX tokens, you're going to multiply this by 20%. This is what you're going to get at the launch. And if my analysis is going to hold, then it means you will multiply this by 0.89. You will make about $890. You will take home how much? About 115,000 shillings. What about someone who has mined, let's say, 10,000? You will take home 20%, which, and by the way, the remaining 80% you will be given once every 3 months for a period of 5 years. So it's going to be claimed quarterly for 5 years. So you're going to get 2,000. So multiply this by 0.89. That's about $1,780. Times 130, you will make about 231,000. And if you have mined something like 15,000 coins, multiply this by 20%, that is 3,000 coins, multiply by 0.89. Actually, I'm working with the minimum. Multiply this by 130, you will take home 347,000. So you can do your arithmetics, see how much you expect, and then, of course, bear in mind, these are just my price prediction calculations. They are not meant to be accurate. They could be accurate, but not necessarily. But of course, I don't expect the price to go far from where I've actually mentioned, between 0.89 to around $1.14. So just do your calculations around there, so that if the price is going to be higher, of course, we shall be celebrating. If the price is going to be somehow lower, it's not going to be far from what we are talking about. So congratulations to everyone who has participated up to this particular end. Make sure, of course, you follow this channel, because all updates on airdrops we release here before everyone else releases them. So thank you very much. Stay tuned for the next video.